conversation.
With a personality shaped by being an athlete and a background in mainstream sports media, I found that the stories I was most interested in telling were the ones often overlooked, the ones that might not otherwise be told, the ones that show the intangible and not just the highlight reel. The Sports Council is about highlighting the great, the good, the unique, and everything in between in the Pacific Northwest sports world. I'm Jamie Council. Thanks for joining me.
You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, the Tri-Cities leader in sports.
Welcome to the Sports Council. I'm Jamie Council. Fall is right around the corner, and with it comes football, and we're joined by going to be a senior next year for Kamiakin, David Kuku. David, thanks for joining us.
Yes, ma'am. Always. It's a pleasure.
So you are going to be a Coug, WSU. Here you come.
Yes,
Road to Pullman has begun.
Yes, sir.
But first, you still have your senior year to go. So tell me, what have you been up to this summer?
I've been on all gas, no brakes. Last 3 camps I've hit, I won MVP. So I'm just getting ready for this senior year. You know, I got a big target on my back with winning 4A Defensive Player of the Year at the state. I want my boys on my team. I got to get that ring. I haven't won a ring in 3 years. So, the 4th one, that's what we got to do. We got to get that ring and bring it back home.
And right now, tell me about your mindset. I mean, there's such hype around you as a player. 7th ranked in the state of Washington. You had, I believe it was 8 offers, and you ultimately decided on WSU. But how do you feel? Because you feel like you've kind of got that offer, that's what you play all for. But how do you approach that you have the offer, but you're still, like you mentioned, have that target on your back?
Yeah, the offer was a blessing, like all my other offers, but that one kind of hit different because it was the home team. Showing like the people around you showing just mad love that you're committed to the home team, and like it hit different because like my parents can like come to games and really watch me play. And so it was just a different feeling, when I was on my OB, they just always welcomed me. The defensive coordinator, my man, Coach AB, the corners coach. They just all welcomed me with open arms. Even the new teammates that came in, like freshmen, it was just like I was just home.
So I was going to wait to ask this question, but it seems like a perfect time to ask it. Of why WSU? It sounds like it just kind of clicked, because I think it was just a couple weeks before that you visited Colorado, and also had offers from Eastern, which is where your cousin goes, Boise, which is where your other cousin goes. So why WSU?
I chose Wazoo because, it was, first of all, it was close to home. I wanted my parents to come watch me ball out wherever I go. So that was a perfect fit. And then second, it was just family orientated. Like when I went on my visit, like I said, it was all open arms. They welcomed my family right off the bat. Everybody was just loving and like caring. So I knew like this is the spot I want to be. And like, I know my cousins go to Boise, go to Eastern, but I didn't want to go to a school where they're already at. I wanted to go to school to make a name for myself. And so, Wazoo was a perfect fit.
And why not have the opportunity to play against them?
Yes, sir. That's the perfect. That's right there.
I love it. I love it. You guys are all such competitors. And surrounding WSU, there's been a lot of shakeups in the football world, in the Pac-12, Pac-2, all of that stuff going on. So did that influence your decision, or tell me some of the conversations that have surrounded that? I mean, it will work itself out. WSU isn't going anywhere, but as a player, how do you approach something that is very real right now?
Honestly, I didn't really think too much about it. I just thought of it like wherever you ball out, they're gonna find you. That's really my motto. Like I want to go in there, I want to play, and I want to go to the next level. But like at Wazoo, even like they kind of open my mind to like even if I don't make it to the next level, like they still have different opportunities. Like it's bigger than football. That's what I really seen from like what they were doing and what they were talking about, and like that's really why I committed. And like, yeah.
And 16 Wazoo players are in NFL camps right now. Is that your ultimate goal, or tell me what
Yes,
are your
ma'am.
sights set on right now?
Yes, of course. My sight is clear vision straight to the NFL. But you know, even if that doesn't work out, you know, I still want to go into the marketing world, you know, with the whole business thing. Like I want to be a real estate agent, and like that's really what I want to do. But my main goal is to go to the NFL, you know, uh, and my drive is to never see my parents work again. That's really my drive and like why I do it and my purpose.
And what makes you believe in WSU? Obviously, a great coaching staff there, but for you personally, what kind of clicked for you that they're the ones that will help you accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish?
I mean, ever since the DC coach Medin came down to the school, he's been hitting me ever since. They offered me after the FSP 7-on-7. And then they got a new corners coach, Coach AB Allen Brown. He came from Florida. So he hit me right away, and I just knew like, boom, we got this connection going because he recruited Gabe, he recruited Tuna. So I knew like he already knew my family, so we already had this connection going. And then so like that, it just clicked. And so yeah, I knew I wanted to play for him. I want to play under his wing. And then it was great ever since.
We're going to take a quick break. Again, we're catching up with David Kuku, going to be a senior at Kamiakin on his road to Pullman. You're listening to 1340 ESPN, your Tri-City.
Inconveniences can happen at, well, inconvenient times. JRT Mechanical has plumbers and HVAC technicians available 24/7 if an emergency does arise. Or if you feel like your house isn't cooling like it used to, or if you're tired of a hose leaking from last winter's freeze, JRT is an honest, reliable company that's been in the Pacific Northwest for more than 3 decades. Give JRT Mechanical a call at 509-314-4314 or visit jrtmechanical.com.
If you've got a winery, brewery, or dairy, why buy industrial parts and supplies from across the country? Central Industrial Sales is your local source for supplies and equipment for the dairy, food processing, winery, and brewing industries. We specialize in custom fabrication, industrial cleaning equipment, sanitary fittings, valves, pumps, chemicals, and many other supplies. Everything's available through our website, by phone, or by dropping by our office. Call 509-375-4032 or find us at centralindustrialsales.com.
Come in and beat the heat. Visit Krispy Kreme for an ice-cold chiller or iced coffee. While in store, check out what's new, like their Passport to Paris collection in honor of the Olympic Games. Support Team USA and grab a dozen or 2. Enjoy 2 dozen fresh, original glazed for $24.99 every day. And you're just in time to schedule fundraisers for church, school, or sports teams.
It's an easy way to raise some dough. See store for details.
Krispy Kreme, 2805 DePortale Street in Richland. Come in with a sweet tooth, leave with a smile.
You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, the Tri-Cities leader in sports.
We're back on the Sports Council, catching up with David Kuku, a senior next year for Kamiakin, committed to WSU. So Kamiakin, you mentioned it in our first segment that you don't have a ring in those 3 years that you have been there, but you guys have come so close.
Yep.
Yep, that kind of sums it up.
Yeah, it's been hard. You know, my freshman year, I didn't get that much playing time. You know, I was hurt, but I got moved up week 3. Losing a GK, it kind of opened my eyes a lot. And then, you know, sophomore year we came out slow, and then junior year we picked it back up. But we lost in the semifinals, and it kind of hurt me. But you know, now this time it's real. It's go time. Like there's no falling back, none of that. Like we want it bad, and that's what I want to bring to my team. And I want to leave my head coach, Coach Bighlin, with a ring. Because he's been coaching me my whole life. Like I've never had never had my life had a different coach, and he's just always been the one to like be right there, be by my side, and be my coach.
You guys had such an interesting journey last year. When you came in, it was a 1-point game, 36-35 to Emerald Ridge, which surprised everybody. And then Mount Si, 8-6 score for a football game, which was crazy in itself. And then, like you mentioned, eventually losing to Lake Stevens, the eventual state winner in Lake Stevens. So how did you guys feel after that? It was such highs and lows where you were getting the wins, but then they were close, and then Lake Stevens, that wasn't that close of a game. So how did the Braves feel once last season concluded?
It was a rocky journey, having all those high scoring games, those low scoring games, but Lake Stevens really showed us like what we need to work on and how we need to get as a team and work together. Emerald Ridge, I feel like we capitalized off that win, but I feel like we could have played way more better. So Lake Stevens, when we came out, I feel like we came out knowing like we already had this W in the bag. But knowing Lake Stevens, I already know like they're coached hard, they play hard, they play fast. I felt like we didn't have that mentality that we didn't really have to strike them first. And so when we came out, I feel like we came out a little slow. And so this year it's like it's all gas, no brakes. We're gonna come out fast regardless of the situation. We coming, we hungry.
And talk a little bit about the personnel that you guys have. You guys lost a lot of pieces. You know what you need to work on. So I guess give me a quick overview of the Braves that you think will step onto the field this season.
People think we lost a lot, but in reality, I feel like a lot of dudes that stepped up this year are great players. Like, I have my younger cousin, Michael Corey. I have my other cousin, Robert Jalima. So we're all in the secondary. I feel like our secondary it's if it's not the same, it's way better. Our backer court getting better every day. Our D line, O line, just offense, just overall as a team, like we just all getting better day by day. We just train, we just get together as brothers. Like, and a little bit here at 4, like we're all getting together and having a player-led practice. Like I don't think other people in the state are really doing that. Like we really hungry and we really want it this year.
So hearing you talk about Kamiakin, the first thing that comes to my mind, based on what you're saying and also what I know, is a family that you have, literal family there. Yeah. And then Scott Bighlin is Scott Bighlin's son. So how does that kind of play into who the Braves are, where you guys are family in both the brother and the brotherhood sense?
Yeah, growing up in Landon, it's always been love, basically like our whole team, we knew each other since we were little. So like the communication's on point, like everything's on point, now we just got to get better as a whole and just like focus on the things that we need to worry about instead of focusing on things that we don't need to worry about, really. But Landon, man, he's a great guy. I love him to death, and we just been always playing together since we was little. Like when he was little, he used to play quarterback and I used to play receiver. So that's kind of funny that now he's an old line and then I'm a DB now. So yeah, that's really my point on Landon. But as the team, like I feel like our communication is there. Like we already have that. Like now we just need to put everything together, get all our tools sharpened up, and now we just got to go out and fight and get it.
It's funny. I still think that's one of the funniest conversations I've had with Scott Bighlin, is that he was happy that Landon wasn't a quarterback just because he was scared about their, father-son relationship. It's like, oh, he's a lineman, we have our space. So
yeah,
it's a fun dynamic there. And let's talk a little bit about the MCC. You personally, I know everybody has their own people they know, as well as us, outside the field can feel that tension when it comes to certain teams. But what about you? Who in the MCC do you really look forward to that you circle on the calendar?
Tijuana. That's my biggest rivalry. That's just always my biggest rivalry. But it's for sure Tijuana first, Kennewick second. Like obviously, who's the king of Kennewick, and then Richland. Obviously, like Richland. They just always bring that energy. Like it's Richland. Like who doesn't want to play Richland? Like them Bombers are gonna bring it, regardless of the situation. They're gonna bring it.
And there's kind of some fun history, like when I think of rivalries, the Richland Kamiakin, it runs a
Yeah,
little deeper. You have the Buns
yeah.
Camo shirts, and
Yeah.
as players, how do you kind of obviously you want to
Mm.
play them. You're competitive, you look forward to that, but is there any point where you kind of have to, I guess, draw back and enjoy and let the fan section enjoy that? Or what's your mindset kind of surrounding the hype of Friday Night Lights?
I mean, I feel like it makes the game 10 times more better because like you have people pulling up before players, and I feel like that's crazy. So the fans are always going to talk. Fans are going to be fans. So I feel like it just hypes up the game way more. So like bigger plays, bigger moments, and I feel like you got to capitalize on that, and that's how you get better as a player, as a team.
And who in the MCC are you friends with? I mean, obviously a lot of you guys grew up playing one another, so who are your guys that perhaps you connect with on the football level that might not be wearing the red and gold at the end of the day?
I got Alex Roberts, the running back from Kennewick. I got Colson Mackey from Richland. Who else? And then I had like older dudes from Chiawana, but I don't really got nobody over there anymore. And then and then I had Isaac Corey last year, but he transferred to Eastside Catholic. He was at Hermiston. And yeah, those are my guys. Those are some dudes that I go against head to toe with, and I get it going with them for sure.
You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, your Tri-Cities leader in sports.
You're listening to Jamie Council on the Sports Council.
Inconveniences can happen at, well, inconvenient times. JRT Mechanical has plumbers and HVAC technicians available 24/7 if an emergency does arise. Or if you feel like your house isn't cooling like it used to, or if you're tired of a hose leaking from last winter's freeze, JRT is an honest, reliable company that's been in the Pacific Northwest for more than 3 decades. Give JRT Mechanical a call at 509-314-4314 or visit jrtmechanical.com.
If you've got a winery, brewery, or dairy, why buy industrial parts and supplies from across the country? Central Industrial Sales is your local source for supplies and equipment for the dairy, food processing, winery, and brewing industries. We specialize in custom fabrication, industrial cleaning equipment, sanitary fittings, valves, pumps, chemicals, and many other supplies. Everything's available through our website, by phone, or by dropping by our office. Call 509-375-4032 or find us at centralindustrialsales.com.
Krispy Kreme is celebrating July with delicious patriotic donuts, and stay cool with an iced coffee or frozen lemonade. And don't forget to schedule your fundraiser. Perfect for sports teams, churches, and much more. They take the hassle away with a digital coupon. Download the Krispy Kreme app for all the latest deals, plus find out how you can support Team USA in the upcoming Olympics. Krispy Kreme at 2805 Duportail Street in Richland. Come with a sweet tooth, leave with a smile.
You're listening to the Sports Council on 1340 ESPN, the Tri-Cities leader in sports.
We're back on the Sports Council. Jamie Council joined by David Kuku, headed to WSU next year, but this year it's your senior year at Kamiakin. Had a lot of fun talking about some of the ins and outs of the MCC. The MCC is very competitive, and would you say it kind of helped you get to where you are as a player now?
Oh, of course, yes. I feel like I've been through a lot in the MCC, and I've done a lot of great things in the MCC. But yeah, it's definitely brought me to where I'm at now.
And cornerback, it's a very tough position. I mean, soccer was my sport, and I was always on the offense. Like, that's just the way my brain works. So cornerback is a very tough position. How did you discover that was kind of your thing?
My freshman year, I just came out, I was kind of faster and bigger than kind of like everybody. So I just went out and I just pressed. And then I got a trainer from Gabe, obviously connected with Gabe. And then it just took off from there. Like I learned the technique, like I learned everything. I learned the press, I learned the off, I learned the catch, I learned the scooch. Like I just learned everything about DB and corner, and it just all played so well with everything that I had already. And then I just knew it was my home. I like the dark side.
And it's funny you mentioned Gabe because obviously you guys are cousins,
Yeah.
play, in the secondary. So how did he, I guess, help you developing, just that much older and having gone through this? Talk about your relationship and how he's helped you, whether it be in the recruiting process or even on the field.
Yeah, Gabe's helped me with a lot, like a lot. When I mean like I can't thank him enough. Like I can't thank him enough. He's been through everything with me. Like he taught me the whole like process of the recruiting. He taught me how to like what I need to work on in my mechanics and like what I don't need to work on and like he just sees things differently than I see them. So like we put two to two together. Like I would help him on something he needs to work on, and he'll help me things I need to work on. And then also like he brought me to Team Lillard. I feel like I wouldn't be like with Team Lillard today if it wasn't for Gabe. He brought me to my trainer, Riddell Krim. So I probably wouldn't be with him today either. So I feel like he's been playing a big role in my life and like the recruiting process and like the whole football aspect of my life for a little while now. And I mean that's my guy. You know, we always go head and toe. He might have the bigger ups on me, but we gonna get the work in though for sure. But yeah, that's big cousin and this really love over there.
And I saw on your social media, hashtag Team Lillard. Tell me a little bit about Team Lillard and how it's helped you in football.
I feel like Team Lillard's helped me a lot. Shout out Houston Lillard. He runs the whole program. Houston's been a big part in my recruiting process. I go to him for everything in the recruiting process. Because I feel like he's put so much guys into the college. We got like a memo hashtag we go to college. Uh, and he's been always just helping me. Like if I got a question about this, if I got a question about that, like I'll just hit up Hugh and like he would answer it right away. But Team Lillard has played a big aspect. Like obviously like traveling, like going to Texas, going to Vegas, and playing dudes at a higher competition of high school than me. I feel like it's just better. It's just always gonna get you better playing different competition, and like it's helped me a lot. I feel like it opened my eyes to seeing like competition around the world and not just where I'm at.
And for those that don't know, Team Lillard, it's 7v7 football,
Yep.
which I feel like 7v7 has really exploded in the past couple years because it's allowed, other than linemen, you can develop your skills without having to do that every rep that takes a
Yeah.
toll on your body when you add those extra bodies on the field. So
Yeah.
just talk a little bit, what have you seen with 7v7 football and how it's maybe helping those skill guys?
Yeah, it helped my mechanics a lot. Like when I mean a lot, like because you just gotta rep, you just gotta keep repping the same mechanics over and over and over again. And so 7-on-7, that's what you really work on is your mechanics. Like as a receiver, you want to work on like release, stacking, and like your hands. Like as a DB, you want to work all your like your pure steps, your inch, your lateral movement, like your shuffle. It just like so much things that you can work on, and you put that all together, and then you just get what you get out of it. But putting it all together is like you gonna win the rep or you gonna win the reps, you gonna win some reps, you gonna lose some reps. It's just how football is. You're not gonna win them all. You're not perfect, but you gotta flush it. That's how 7-on-7 is. Like you can have one play, they go deep, they can score. You can come back, you have another play, they go deep, and you score. So it's just like, just mental reps. You gotta work it.
So what you're working on is, I guess, your refusal to give up on the play, and you're not going to get where you are, where you take a look 6 foot, like you mentioned earlier, that Gabe has that reach on you, and you take a look at things like, the height or arm, and how has that influenced your game? Because you've had to overcome some people maybe seeing 6 foot
Yeah.
and maybe then they take a look at your tape and it's a different story. So
Yeah.
how have you kind of had to deal with things like that?
Obviously, like guarding a bigger receiver, I play straight tech. Like if I know I'm way faster than you, I'm gonna play straight tech. But if I know you're way like you got speed on you and I gotta get hands on, I'm gonna get hands on you. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm gonna get hands on you. Like I'm still gonna use my tech and I'm gonna get my hand on you. I'm gonna make you feel uncomfortable so that timing can get thrown off. That's a bigger receiver, like I could just use straight tech, maybe get a pick, because as slow as he is, or I could still bat the ball down. That's just how I view the game.
One last thing that I wanted to touch on here, I mentioned that we're talking a little bit about your background, and we have, but a big part of who you are and who your family is. And I know I've had some talks with your cousins on this, but you're Sudanese, that your family has a background that they weren't always from the Tri-Cities. Tell me a
Yeah.
little bit about your family background and how that pertains to who you are and how much family means to you.
Okay, so my older sister, my older brother, mom and dad are from Africa. They're from Sudan, Khartoum, and me and my little brother are born here. I was born in 2006 here, and then my little brother came after me, and then so we just been living here ever since. And yeah, I feel like why the reason why I work so hard, and I feel like the reason why they work so hard to where they're at now is they don't want to see their parents work. Like that's obviously my big goal is I don't want to see my parents work ever again. I feel like they've done so much already for me to just keep on working this life. I feel like I I kind of got to give back to them. That's kind of my how I'm feeling, and I feel like where I'm at and like what I'm doing, I feel like it's a great process. It's a great start to where I'm trying to get at. And I'm not gonna stop until my mom and dad both get a house, they're both retired, and that's just it. That's kind of where I'm at.
And seeing your parents come over from Africa, having to go through that process, and I even know Tuna and Gabe's parents of, not having that college degree and what's available for you. What have you seen that your parents have gone through of coming here to create a better life for you and your family? What does that look like to people that haven't really seen that firsthand, but you have, and those people are your parents?
I've seen a lot. Like my parents really like they really work for everything they have right now. Like there was days like the electricity went out, we didn't have electricity, we had to use candles, like things like that. It kind of like opened my mind like how hard they're really working for their kids, and we're all just under a roof, just so grateful. Like and I feel like I just got to repay them. Like that's just it. Like I have no other choice but to repay them. Like I feel like they don't want nothing out of me, but I feel like my own self just wants to give back to them. Them just being my parents and always being there for me.
Well, they've obviously done a good job. Obviously, a great football player that we've talked about, and also planning on majoring in business, doing
Yeah.
it on and off the field.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, David, it was great chatting with you. Look forward to watching you at Kamiakin next year, your senior year. Go get that ring, as well as beyond Kamiakin.
Yes, ma'am. Go
Again,
Cougs.
that's it. David Kuku. Go Cougs. You're listening to the Sports Council on ESPN 1340, your Tri-Cities leader in sports.
Well, that'll wrap up this week's show of the Sports Council. A reminder that the Sports Council happens 4 times a month, Thursdays at 11:30 a.m. on 1340 ESPN Radio, your Tri-Cities leader in sports, on demand at 1340ESPNradio.com. It's also available via podcast. Wherever you get your podcasts, just search for the Sports Council. As well as there is a video portion that you can find on SK Plus. SK Plus is an app that you can find in the Apple Store, available for iPhones, iPads, or Apple TV. You can also find it on skeeterbuggins.com. Thank you to Stevens Media Group and Skeeter Buggins Productions with the help of the Sports Council. We'll catch you next time. Until then, I'm Jamie Council.